Just let... No, but you don't... Would you just let me... Let me get it... Let me get... You're not... Give me a... Oh.
Goodbye.
You've probably never heard how one of Hollywood's funniest men spent his final night. Alone in a Mexican hotel room, calling his kids to say goodnight, and never waking up. John Candy was one of the most beloved comedians of the 1980s and early 90s. But behind his warm smile and impeccable comedic timing was a life marked by personal struggles, silent battles, and a heartbreaking end. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you won't miss our new videos. Born in 1950 in Toronto, Canada, John Candy's life changed forever when he was just 5 years old. His father, Sidney, died suddenly of heart disease at the age of 35. That trauma stuck with Candy for life, haunting him like a shadow. His mother, Evangeline, moved the family to a small bungalow in East York, sharing a cramped space with extended relatives. It was a humble beginning, and the fear of following in his father's footsteps never left him. As a teenager, Candy had dreams of becoming a professional football player. He was a promising offensive tackle with hopes of playing for the Toronto Argonauts, but a devastating knee injury shattered that dream. With his sports career gone, Candy turned to acting, almost by accident, and began performing with Toronto's famous Second City comedy troupe. At Second City, Candy worked with future legends like Eugene Levy, Catherine O'Hara, and Harold Ramis. These were the roots of a new generation of comedic giants. His big break came with SCTV, a sketch comedy show that aired in Canada and later in the US. Candy's wild characters, like Johnny LaRue and Dr. Tongue, became fan favorites. And yet, even as he rose to fame, Candy stayed deeply connected to his Canadian roots. Unlike many who left for Hollywood and never looked back, he continued working in small Canadian productions, supporting his homeland's entertainment industry in ways few stars of his stature ever did. During this time, Candy began collaborating frequently with writer-director John Hughes. The two made movie magic together: Uncle Buck, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and The Great Outdoors. Audiences loved him, but few realized the pain he carried behind the laughter. If you found this fact surprising, give us a like and keep watching. What happened next might break your heart. In 1982, Candy was rocked by the sudden death of his friend and idol John Belushi. Belushi, like Candy, had worked with Second City and shared a reputation for hard partying. When Belushi died of a drug overdose at just 33, it shook Candy to his core. He quit cocaine on the spot, but the trauma sent him into a deep depression. According to friends, he stopped answering his phone, isolated himself, and spiraled emotionally. The fear of dying young, just like his father and his friend, was never far from his thoughts. Candy's health had always been a struggle. He battled with weight gain for most of his adult life. At times, he weighed over 330 pounds, despite numerous attempts with diets, trainers, and lifestyle changes. He smoked a pack a day and suffered panic attacks, which only worsened with age. And yet, despite the physical toll, he kept working, pushing through the pain to keep making people laugh. In 1991, one of his lifelong dreams came true. He became part owner of his favorite football team, the Toronto Argonauts, alongside hockey legend Wayne Gretzky. That same year, the team won the Grey Cup. For Candy, it was a full circle moment. Football, family, and fame all coming together. But it didn't last long. By 1994, the team had been sold, and Candy's involvement came to an end. Even at the peak of his fame, Hollywood didn't always know what to do with him. He was originally offered a role in Ghostbusters, but he turned it down, confused by the concept and trying to pitch his own bizarre version of the character. The role went to Rick Moranis instead. Candy still appeared in the Ghostbusters music video, but missing out on the film itself, one of the decade's biggest hits, was a lost opportunity. Still, he kept working, appearing in dozens of beloved films. But toward the end, the signs were there. In 1994, Candy was filming Wagons East in Durango, Mexico. The film, a Western comedy, was already plagued with problems. Candy was exhausted, both mentally and physically. On March 4th, he filmed his final scenes, made dinner for his assistants, and called his kids, Jennifer and Chris, to say goodnight.
Some stories we're following. Tributes pour in for one of Canada's most famous entertainers. John Candy is dead at the age of 43. Candy was in Mexico working on a movie. He died of a heart attack. Back after this.
That night, alone in his hotel room, John Candy suffered a fatal heart attack in his sleep. He was just 43 years old. His wife, Rosemary, whom he met on a blind date in the late 70s, was left to raise their children alone. Both Jennifer and Chris went on to pursue careers in entertainment, keeping their father's legacy alive. In a touching tribute, their first roles were voice appearances in Camp Candy, the animated Saturday morning cartoon their dad had created. If this story touched you, comment below with the moment you found most surprising, or share your favorite John Candy movie. John Candy's story is one of deep humanity. He made millions laugh even while carrying an immense personal burden. He was a man who loved his family, his country, and his craft, even as fame, health issues, and tragedy loomed overhead. He wasn't just the big guy with the funny voice. He was a gentle soul, a loving father, and a friend who never turned his back on his roots. Remember him not just for the laughter he gave us, but for the quiet strength behind every smile. Subscribe to the Bold Fact Files channel, turn on the notifications, and you won't miss our new videos.